All right, guys, welcome to the episode of Coffee is for Closers. Me and James today, and we are going to be talking about incentive structures for salespeople.
Yeah, bonuses, commissions, gifts, fringe benefits, all the good stuff.
Minge benefits, all the stuff, right?
If you listen to this podcast, you will make your first million within 3 years. I'm going to repeat that. You will make $1 million within 3 years of the first episode you listen to. We don't want pikers. We're not here to save the manatees. We're here to make podcasts. You really want this. You listen and review.
Put that coffee down.
Alrighty, here we are.
So
It's December 1st as we're actually recording this, but I think it'll be January if you're listening to it.
December 1st. Speaking of that, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't have a mustache anymore because I know how much you hate it. Not really.
It's
November's
terrible.
over. So for the guys listening that aren't in Australia or the UK, we have this thing that's called Movember, where basically through the month of November, you grow a mustache and to raise money. So we raised a bit of money there. We probably should have used this platform to raise a bit more, but we'll know for next year. And so I spent the month of November growing a pretty ballin' mustache, and I spent 2 months before that getting it ready because I grow facial hair like a girl. It's funny.
All good stuff. All right, so yeah, incentive structures for salespeople.
Where do you want to start with this? That's a very open and odd topic.
Yeah, well, I think it's an interesting one because the reason why I was on top of my head is because obviously it's the 31st in the States, and we have a cash collection bonus on one of our accounts, and they were nowhere near hitting it. And let me see, they collected, I think it was $50,000 today.
Yeah, just to
Two
bring it
hits.
up and be $74.
To be $74 short. So we'll figure that out. I'm sure we can
But,
figure a way to make $74.
Yeah, for sure. If not, we'll just buy it ourselves. So the worst thing was we've consistently crushed that cash collection bonus for months and months, but we had some issue with leads, so there wasn't as many opportunity to make as many sales and thus collect not as much cash this month, which is disappointing, but it does happen. So now the boys are hustling their asses off to make some additional sales.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, what motivates salespeople? Is it the money? Is it because the money is there regardless. So why is it that at the end of the month people get a really good hit and they start smashing through it? What is the mindset behind that? What is the incentive structures that you need in order to kind of maximize that? Because the moment we put in that that cash collection bonus, sales literally doubled.
Yeah.
Literally. We went from doing maybe 60 or 70,000 a month in cash collected. Obviously the contract value was hundreds and hundreds, but in cash collected, the moment we put a cash collection bonus in, I think that month they did 150 in cash collected. And then, and the contract value wasn't that much higher. It was probably 20% higher, but the cash collected was 100% higher. And it was it's just super interesting, what different mechanisms trigger what people into taking what action.
I think the main thing is having a set goal, right? That's not around that contract value, it's around the cash. And that takes away the limiting belief of I need to collect the standard plan. All right. So let's say if your program is 12 months, $1,000 a month, it's 12,000. Most people will take the first month, so they'll collect $1,000. When you work away by aiming to collect more cash, that person might have more funds available. They might not want to pay the paid in full, but they might be able to put down half and then do a payment plan and $1,000 a month for the next 6 months as opposed to 12. Therefore, bringing more cash in the door leaves the business far less vulnerable to failed payments, people pulling out and everything like that because the cash has already been collected. But it takes away the ability for the salesperson to think one-dimensionally, saying, I need to stick to this plan. If there is more cash to be collected, then take it.
Yeah, it's a fine line though, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't bully them and be like, I need this much cash. It's okay, well, what works for you?
Yeah, but you also don't want to collect too much cash.
Yeah. And we've seen the
negative. It's a fine line. If you just go through and pillage all of your clients and because you're doing a really good job and they're happy to pay you in full because they're making money, that can be a dangerous game to play, especially if you're marketing. Unless you're really good with money. If you're really good with money, it makes absolutely no difference, really, because like you just set that aside. Like for us, we have our 5 accounts. We have our revenue, profit, tax, operating expenses, and American Express account. So like we know if I made all the money for the next 3 months today, it'd be fine. It would not make a difference. Like that would just go into the accounts and everything would be there and it would all come out in normal because we're not silly. But like I think a lot of coaching businesses, if they do that poor and they incentivize too much to collect too much cash, I think it's dangerous. But I think that having, like for a lot of salespeople, having something that they can like tangibly go for, where they can like be the masters of their own domain, so that they can go out there and make more money, and have something that they can upsell, cross-sell, get referrals, collect cash, and figure out a way to hit like a bonus at the end of the month. Because like sometimes if you're just going off like volume of sale, then people get disheartened because like if the leads just drop off to nothing, then like there's no way they can hit any sort of bonus structure. Whereas if it's just like, well, we have a cash collection bonus as well, then it's like, sweet, I know I can just start calling people, start collecting cash, maybe upsell current clients. Like what can I do to hit my bonus? And if you get people who are like monetarily motivated, like I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I don't think it's a good or a bad thing to be monetarily motivated. I think for a salesperson, it's quite handy. You look at someone like Will, who's very monetarily motivated, and cash collection bonuses are like the greatest thing on the planet for him. But you look at someone like Marco, it makes no difference to him.
He wants the record,
right?
not the cash.
Yeah, he wants these status motivated. So for him, like he just wants to hit the goal to hit the goal. He doesn't particularly care what the goal is or how it affects him. You know, like he donated a bunch of his commissions this month to other people.
Yeah.
Because they helped him do that, but they wouldn't be rewarded for that. So he was just like, I want to donate this to this and this. I was like, okay, whatever, man. It's your money. You can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, so it's important, I think, to, if you are looking at incentive structures, to one, have a team incentive structure, because that's going to allow everyone to like work together. And then the next thing you want to do is like have a look at the internal motivation systems that the individuals have, and then make sure that you can fulfill both like all different types of individuals. You know, some people are status driven, like, you know, it's a funny one, but you know, we basically took over all the operations and execution for 7th Level by making Marco the vice president of sales or whatever it is we made him. He was so happy with that. Like he loved it because he looks up to me, he looks up to you, he looks up to Jeremy. And so for him to be like codified as like, yeah, you're in the top crew now, like that for him was better than any commission. He doesn't give a fuck about money.
Yeah, 100%.
That guy gives no fucks about money.
And that's like we've talked about this on, you know, other stuff like with leading sales teams. It's understanding what the people under you want and giving them a path to achieve that. All right. And then that's what motivates them. And I know like we like to give gifts quite a lot. And when you do like bonuses, like internal bonuses, we typically want to reward guys with something that they want as opposed to a cash. Right. And when I spoke to all the VAs today, or not today, last week, sorry, I said to them, hey, look, you know, Christmas is coming up. We're going to either give you guys a bonus, but I want to know what you want. One, you have the option. I'll either give you cash because that could be more important to you. I go, but I prefer to give gifts. So if there's something you actually want, I'll buy that for you instead. But I understand if you need the money because of the times and for whatever reason, then I'm happy to do that. And surprisingly, I thought they would have said, oh, I'll take the cash. But they're all like, yeah, cool. Like I'll find something that I want and you can get me that. And I think it's really important to find what people want. And the reason being is a lot of the time people don't treat themselves. They don't buy things that they want because there's huge dollar price points on that. Right. So if you can give them that as opposed to the cash, it typically makes them work harder. And I'll put in an example of that. Right. So we got a couple of guys right now that are, you know, paying off debt. They're saving up to buy a house at the same time as paying off that debt. Right. Now we could have said, hey, if you achieve these goals, we'll give you $10,000. Right. And they probably would have just used that $10,000 to pay off their debt, put it in their savings and do nothing with it and not enjoy it. Therefore, it doesn't mean a whole bunch, you know, it gets them to their goal slightly quicker. However, if we know that they've had their eyes on this watch, you know, there's like maybe an $8,000 watch that they've wanted for ages. But because of the debt, because they're saving up for a house, they'll never justify the decision to make that purchase for themselves because it takes it away from their goals. If we can give them that gift of that thing that they've had their eyes on for so long, it's something that they never would have had because they never would have justified it. Therefore, they're happier. It means so much more that they've got something that they've dreamed of instead of slowly working closer to their goals, because we're already satisfying that need with the plan we've put in place for them to achieve it.
Yeah, exactly. So then you get that like multiple levels of fulfillment. And
yes.
That's sort of the plan. But in terms of like, if you're a business owner, you're in coaching or whatever, you have a sales team, what would you think are good incentive structures that you would pay your staff?
Yeah, we'll just wait for them to answer.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a podcast between me and you. Yeah.
Yeah. I love cash collection bonuses.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, for the space that we're in, which is predominantly, coaching and consulting, because a lot of things that you do are on payment plan.
Yeah.
I think cash collection bonuses are great, and you set them so it's achievable but hard. And then like you go like, hey, listen, if you can do anything over $100,000 cash collected, you get 5% of that. And that's not contract value. That's pure money in the bank. You know what I mean? You're going to pay your normal comms on it, but it's like that is money that's in the bank, right? Mm. So I think, for one of our accounts, it's 80,000, anything over 80,000 in cash collected. So it's $1 million a year, right? Like if you can collect us a run rate of $1 million a year, then, you get X amount of whatever that is. And then we can divvy that up amongst the sales staff equally. You know what I mean? For whoever generated revenue, plus, some of it's there as well to go to the setters. And it kind of gives everyone, the ability to to reap the benefits and to reap the rewards of doing that over and above just like standard commissions. Like, because
100%.
I think it's the best way to do it, because it's all about the money that's been banked. Whereas if you do it on like contract value, it's like, hey, if you sell $2 million a month, on contract value, it's like, okay, cool. But like, there's not a lot the salespeople can do about that. Yeah, they can sell a lot of people, but you want to have some that they can dive deep, dig in, and be the masters of their own domain. Otherwise, like they're not gonna, if they know they're not on track to hit it, then like they're just gonna fucking give up.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. And so like, you see the guys, they needed to collect, $50,000 with 2 days left to go, because November was a tough month for that account. And they made like fucking 11 sales today or something stupid like that. And then collected like 50,000 in cash. Like it's crazy. I watched the fucking, the sale notification comes and I was like, Jesus.
Ding, ding,
bing, 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 bing. I was like, where did all these people come from?
Yeah, it's crazy. And one of the biggest mistakes people there is setting unrealistic goals. We've seen that happen with many clients and many other businesses we've been involved in. If you set stupid targets that are impossible, people aren't motivated to achieve them. Whereas if it's like you mentioned, it's fucking hard, but it's possible, provided they have the resources to make that possible. Then like, things like what today happened will continuously happen, because there's like that teamwork element that's like, okay, the head guy, Will, he's getting his appointment set is like, I need you to follow up this. I need you to get them booked in with me. No room, push it to road. I'll trust you to make this sale. And there becomes this ingrained teamwork to reach that target when it's hard, but achievable, because everyone's pushing each other, because they know that bonus is being split amongst themselves and they're all going to be looked after and they are valued in that process.
Yeah, exactly. So that's important for like the month-to-month ones. And then for like, I would have like milestone bonuses as well within your team, whether it's you've sold $1 million or you've made $100,000 $200,000 in commissions or like whatever it may be, like being able to celebrate milestones. And then milestones, I think, should be done with a gift.
Yeah.
Because gifts are there to celebrate milestones. Like watches are a good one, I think, especially like for our crew, because it's mainly guys and guys like watches. And so
watches, cars, houses, boats. What do you want? Cars.
Expensive shit, right? But I think that like watches are a good one to celebrate things with, right? Because like that's the reason, like every time, if your dad gives you a watch, every time you look at it, you're reminded of like, how it got there. So it's funny, like we paid Will, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we bought him like a $3,000 watch and he was over the fucking moon.
Yeah,
You
because it
know?
means more.
Yeah, like he lost his mind. And I knew his dad wore a tag and all that kind of stuff, so I got him a tag because I thought it would fit well with him. But yeah, like that, he was more proud of that than what he was the
Getting paid.
the $40,000 commission bill that he sent me. Like, which is, it's just funny. It just goes to show you that like it's not like things can mean more.
Yeah,
Just cash. And so I think it's important to like, that's where having a good connection with your sales staff. Like I think a lot of people, we said it before, they just treat salespeople like fucking robots.
It's that cliche saying, it's the thought that counts, because that's really what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is the thought that counts,
In terms of like other incentive structures, like what we do, we give bonuses on team performance, and we also have a bonus. So we have a tiered bonus structure for like our main managers. Whereas if
what's in the works anyway?
Yeah. Well,
It's
the structure's there. We just haven't
Yeah.
worked the numbers because it's been growing too quick. It's like, oh, this number doesn't work anymore. And so basically what we do is like the
3
team
million
work
%.
under them. Yeah, 3
Nothing
million % increase today from this time last year. That's crazy. That's an inside joke. But so we'll have like for their internal team, the amount of cash that they bring into our company, not the amount of cash they collect for their clients, the amount of commission that they generate Sales Sniper. We have targets. If they hit X target, they get paid a bonus for that. Plus there's a bonus that the team gets paid. So there might be like an additional $2,000 to spend on the team. That could be someone on that team doesn't have a headset. They can buy that. There's a budget there to get whatever they need for whole team performance, right? Could be new software, whatever that is for the team to work. So the manager has that bonus, then they get a bonus for the team because it is a teamwork. And then they have a third bonus, which is based off the amount of increase in profit that Sales Sniper has directly. So if Sales Sniper wins, we acknowledge the people that helped us get there, and they'll get a bonus based on how much we increase as a company as well. And I think that's a really, really strong way to do it because one, then they're not just set in stone on achieving their targets. They will go out of their way. They'll do whatever they can to make the company succeed because they are, one, they're brought into that, and two, they're getting reimbursed for it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like you sort of creating a culture where everyone is, wants the company to grow and succeed. Because like what you don't want is like that sort of the figureheads at the top making all the money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right.
Like definitely the people who, me and James will make the most amount of money because we're the ones who took the most amount of risk and, did all the stuff at the beginning. Though. Yeah, but that's business.
Well, I mean,
everyone else, well, right now they're making more money, but
yeah, we're reinvesting most of the money instead of
taking any fucking commissions.
So most of our guys are making more cash than us personally right now, but long term, like it's not going to stay that way.
Yeah, well, it's on purpose. So
yeah, exactly.
But I think like
tactical decision.
Yeah, exactly. But I just think, I think the key to having good incentive structures is like it's just the mindset. Like so many business owners are like, they get stingy when it comes to commissions. And it's like, guys, it's like, that's the one area in business. Like you should be super pumped to pay commissions.
100%.
Like we are. Like I'll send, hey, this guy's sending us a $40,000 bill. And James's response is always, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because like if he's made 40 grand, we've made heaps.
Exactly. Heaps. Right. You always go, oh, fuck, I got to pay 40 grand out. And then I'm like, yeah, exactly right. We have to pay 40 grand out. Do you know why we have to pay 40 grand out? Because we fucking crushed it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, it's, but like,
it's a shock.
It's true. And I think it's good as a lot of people don't have that is, and they start getting stingy. You want to ruin your sales team super quick. Get stingy with your comms.
Yeah.
And try and change your comms. The amount of businesses that I know of that try and change commissions when the salespeople become more successful. It's like, fuck you.
Pay them more. Yeah. Change it in their favor. Incentivize them. And like, I guess that's what we
like,
do.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, sweet. Yeah. We just crushed it. We closed at like 90% this month and we made you fucking $500,000. Yeah. Sweet. So next month we're going to lower the comms. The fuck you are. Yeah. Okay, sweet. We're out. See you later.
And then next month I'll lower the sales. How do you like that?
Sweet. I'll just lower the sales then. Well, if more sales is less money, okay, we'll just do less sales.
Yeah.
You happy with that? Oh,
yeah.
but
And like all of our incentive structures and bonus structures, they're all designed to have people queue into that shared vision of us being successful. And because we have that culture of everyone buying into a shared vision and a culture of standards, it just works, and it works time and time again because people reach those targets because they're good targets.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting messages from Will to trying to figure out how to make that $75.
Yeah. Just deposit. Take a deposit from me.
Yeah.
Mr. Samaj.
Right.
$74.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's all right. I'll front the cash for it.
Yeah. I
You're
mean, from things like that, it really comes down to the math. Is like, does that bonus of hitting it outweigh the cost of buying the program? If the answer is yes, okay, I'll buy the program. You know. That's
Yeah, what's he say? He's trying to sell someone. It's 10 o'clock at night where he is.
That's savage. And that
Our last plan.
like even though Matt's barely listening, and while we're doing this podcast, that just proves our point even further. You know what I mean? That like we're on a podcast now. It's 10 o'clock at that guy's night, and he is doing everything he can to take that money in because he knows what it means. Not one for him to reach that cash collection bonus, what it means to his team to be a part of that, and what it means to Sales Sniper as a whole. You know. And that's where that shared vision comes in, and you can't do that if you be stingy with your money.
Exactly. $74. I'm sure old mate will be fine to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. I'll ask him.
We'll tag him in this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty
Actually,
funny.
It would have paid by the time it gets released anyway. So
yeah, it's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
$74 to make $8,000.
Yeah. Seems like a good return on investment, right? So yeah, I don't really have much more to talk about in incentives there, other than, you know, buy good gifts that are thoughtful, particularly at this time of the year for Christmas. You should be buying your
Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Also, like, you know, I think it's important that you set good, realistic outcomes as well. Yeah. Like don't set outcomes that are so hard to get that like every single star would have to align to get it, because you want the guy, like it's that very, very, it's that Goldilocks zone of like, it needs to be achievable, but hard.
Yeah.
You know, and then it can move. Like if you hit it 3 or 4 months in a row, then raise the bar, but make it better.
Mm.
You know, hey, and then have the conversation. Do you guys want us to keep it the same, or do you want us to raise the bar? But
with the bar raising comes a higher.
Yeah, instead of 8% of cash collected over $80,000, you get 10% of cash collected over 105. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, ooh, this is a fun one. And then it's like a little gamble. And it's like a little game. Like, oh, are we going to do this? All right, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah,
you got to risk it to get the biscuit. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I think like really, really appreciating your sales team, and just, you know, you want them to win. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's why like working with Jeremy is so good, because he's a sales guy, right? He's so happy to pay commissions. He's like, woo! You know, I was like, hey, Jeremy, you paid us $50,000 this month. High five. He's like, that's awesome, bro. And he means it. He's not fucking around. Like he means it, because he knows that if he's paying us that much, he's making like 10 times more.
Exactly.
Well, not quite 10 times more, but 5 times more at least. Right? So he's happy as Larry. I'm happy. The sales guys are happy. And then like everyone can continue to go on their merry way. But like, it just makes no sense to me to disincentivize selling.
100%.
You know? Like we had a guy was like, oh yeah, sweet. No, I'm not going to pay you that. Fuck, you aren't.
Okay.
Like,
say about that.
Yeah, that's not happening. No, we had to look around the numbers and we decided it wasn't worth it for that. So we're going to withhold this. And I was like,
yeah, well,
that's not going to happen.
It's a shame for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a shame. You just lost your sales team. That's really tough on you. It's a hard day for you. I can understand that.
Yeah, we understand that you've got goals, but how do you plan on reaching those goals next month without a sales team?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's the reason why people lose sales. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Interesting. It's really interesting that people decide to do that though. I can't really fathom it.
It's great.
Like not paying commissions and then. Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense, because it's like on the face of it, all you're going to do is piss the people off who are directly responsible.
Yeah.
Like good salespeople are so difficult to find. Like someone who's genuinely good, like someone who can close, like, you put someone in front of them and you're like super confident. Yeah, that guy's like, there's an 80% chance that guy closes.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're so hard to find and leads are so expensive these days that you think you would move heaven and fucking hell to figure out a plan that incentivizes these people more, because like unicorns don't grow on trees. They grow at you got to buy them at the unicorn store. It's a long way out. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a funny one. Yeah. I don't know why some people make those decisions around money. I guess it's just like financial intelligence and understanding the impact that actually has long term, knowing that you paying out those commissions or you paying out bonuses actually makes you money. It is an ROI investment on your team to deliver for you for the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. And then like have your commission structures in a way that benefits the salesperson. Like this is a little tip for young players. You can pay salespeople less if you pay them more upfront. Like 100%. So if you're doing like a $30,000, this is really for the coaching space, for anything that has like a long like deliverable. Say it's a 12-month program at $3,000 a month, it's $36,000. Now, if you're doing a 10% commission, that'd be $3,600 a sale. Or you could pay that out over the year, and that's kind of shitty for the salesperson, to be honest. Also, there's some mental things in there that I think play poorly on the fact that like if people start dropping out at month 6, they're going to lose faith in the program. You know what I mean? So like you could just say, hey, listen, we'll pay you $1,200 a sale. They're like, oh, but that's really low on the percentages. It's like, okay, well, I can pay you 10% over a year, or I can just pay you $1,200 a sale. Yeah. Every time you make a sale, $1,200, no callback.
Take the $1,200.
Exactly. They're all going to take the $1,200. And then what do? You just make the first month $1,000 more expensive. It makes no fucking difference.
Nope.
Right?
You're going to buy some for 36. You're going to buy it for 37.
Yeah. And then you just say, oh, the first month's $4,000 instead of $3,000. Then you paid them $1,000. So you're only paying them an extra $200. And like, that's how we pretty much structure all of our deals. We take more than that, but like, I pretty much structure, if you're doing a $10,000 program, like I want to make at least $2,000 a sale. That's sort of where I want to be. So if your program is $5,000, it's like, well, I'll take 20% and I'll add $1,000. So it's now $6,000. I want $2,000. Right. So yeah. And it just makes so much more sense with the salesperson, because then like they can have direct reflection on that. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, cool. And then if they get a cash collection bonus on top of that, if you were willing to pay $3,600 over 12 months, and you can pay a 10% cash collection bonus of anything over X amount. Yeah. And they're hitting that and they're getting into $1,200. Like you're still going to be paying less overall commissions as long as your delivery is good. Now, if you have a garbage program, like some of the ones that we know about that we used to sell back in the day that had like, that like 2-month retention, obviously that doesn't work. But if people have got good retention and a good program, like pay the sales guy more upfront. Don't worry about percentages. Percentages are a chumps game. Just go, hey, listen, do you want to make $1,000 a phone call? Yes. All right, sweet. Let's just do that. No callbacks, no nothing. All you got to do is worry about the first month. And then, hey, if I make 20 sales, I'll make 20 grand. Happy with that.
Yeah. Percentages are for accountants and calculators.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my little rant. I think this is going to be a short one today, half an hour. I think we're good to go. But yeah, that's just like, that's our thoughts on incentive structures. I think the takeaway points are, don't be stingy, right? And we also like, just on the other side of that, we run a business. You know what I mean? And like we try and walk that line as well between like profit, deliverability, how much, commissions we pay out, etc. But like at the end of the day, we want to make sure the salesperson is going to be super happy, because like we need them to make the sale.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't make any sense to be stingy on comms. It doesn't mean that you over commission yourself to the point where like you can't afford that, like you're not self-liquidating. But like, if you can break even on the front end, like the first month, it's pretty good. If it costs you $1,000 to get them on the call and you're paying $2,000 commissions and they pay you $3,000, you've broken even on the first month. Then by month 2, you're profitable. Like that's not a bad situation to be in. If you can make it so you make a bit of money on the very, very first month, that's great too. But, usually as your company gets bigger and as you start to scale out, like, really breaking even on the first month is pretty much ideal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. That's it. That's our take on incentives. Just basically, it's a bunch of salespeople saying, "Give us more money."
Yeah, yeah.
That's
so. If you're a client listening to this, take our advice.
Give us more.
And if you're a potential client, you come to us knowing what you're in for.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. Hope that was helpful. Please feel free to Have a look at the description and go to the Facebook group, the closing code. I think it's coming up on 500 people now, which is cool. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you have a look at the YouTube channel for more content. And as always, if you want to give us some of your hard-earned dollary dues, $25 for the first week of the closing code, 6 role play sessions a week, and a lovely little portal. All right, guys, that's it from us.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.